my school, we go to this thing called regionals, and it's at another school. I don't know how to describe that, but it's for band, and it's when you have to memorize, or for the trumpet, you have to memorize 6 scales, and plus the chromatic scale, you have to have the chromatic scale memorized, and they're going to pick a random scale out of the other 6 scales, and sorry if you hear rustling, my cat decided to eat treats right now, but I decided that I'd play the chromatic scale for you guys, and my song, it's called Middle Lock, so yeah. So this is the chromatic scale. Yes. So that's the chromatic scale that we have to have memorized, and then those 6 scales that we have to have memorized, and then they choose a random scale out of the 6 scales. It's complicated. So here are the scales that we have to have memorized, and then that's the chromatic scale I just played for you. And it's more likely for them to choose this one. It's the G major scale for trumpet, or the concert F major. And because it's a double octave for us, but for like saxophones and stuff, there's a lot of double octaves, so they don't know which one they're going to pick, but the G scale is what they usually pick for the trumpet. Okay, so my song has like piano parts in it, so it's like split up into different parts, so like different sections. So I'm going to play the different sections for you. First up is part 1. What I forgot to mention before was that my song was called Metal Lock, and so yeah, this is part 1. Yeah, so that was part 1. On to part 2. Yeah. So yeah, that was part 2, and on to part 3, and then there's a pause, and then there's part 4, and it goes back to part 2, and then it goes down to part 4. Did I say that right? I think I said that wrong. Oh well, it's confusing. It sounds confusing, but it's really not that confusing. So, it's time for part 3. Oh, my mustache fell off. Okay, part 3, here I come. Okay, so this is part 1, 2, 3, but at the end of part 3, it goes back to part 2, and then part 2 goes to part 4. So yeah. So that was my regional song. I hope you enjoyed it. So as I'm filming this, regionals are tomorrow, but by the time I post this, regionals will probably already passed. But regionals are January 9th, 2016, and today's the 8th, so I'm really nervous about that, but I sound better than I did last year. But yeah, so comment below if you liked it. Oh my god, guys, you made it to the end of my video. That's amazing! You did it! Yeah! Actually, it's not the end. There's bloopers after this. I decided because there's a few times that I either messed up talking or messed up on a note and it sounded really funny, so I added it in. But you almost made it to the end. Stand tight while I show you of me being an idiot. Okay, so this is part 2, and part 2 goes into part... This isn't part 2, this is part 3. Okay, so part 3 goes into part 2, and part 2 then jumps down to go to part 4. I can't talk. What was that? Wow, that sounded really bad. Let's erase that from our minds. Technical difficulty. Hey guys, so it's the next day and I just came back from my audition for regionals and I did pretty good, but you actually made it to the end of my video now. Bloopers are over. So I played the piece that I showed you and the scale that I showed you for the judges, and then they chose the G scale like I knew that they were gonna, because it's the only double octave scale. Then they made me sight read, and I actually did pretty good on the sight reading. So yeah, it's the regionals is over now, but you made it to the end of my video, and that's amazing. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.